that are facing tourism in Egypt. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone Dr. Muhammad Ashraf Rustum, teaching assistant at the Department of Political Science. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Well,
it's welcome to.
Yes. Well, Dr. Rustum, as we are making a wrap-up at the end of the year for the most important events that took place in Egypt, one of the very important events that took place in Egypt was the national dialogue, and this time it was very successful. Actually, it have discussed several issues that concerns the state, the government, and the Egyptian people. So if you would like to shed light.
Okay. I think it's a reality that the national dialogue is very, very important. As the oldest, it should be noted that the call for national dialogue, as you said, came from President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during the Egyptian Family Iftar Party in April 2022. Out of 13 decisions of the president, including 11 economic decisions and a decision related to forming a committee to decide on the presidential pardon, and a decision related to the national dialogue. Then the first session began in May 2023. In order to shed light on the importance of the launching this dialogue, we must first address the challenges that this dialogue faces, as it faced challenges before preparing for its first session, represented by the claim that this dialogue will not succeed and that it's an attempt by Mr. President for political maneuvering in light of international and economic pressure to which he is exposed. This allegation, which were denied the moment it was announced that the first session of the national dialogue would begin in May after a good preparation for it. The national dialogue was also exposed to challenges during its establishment, such as the importance of institutionalize this dialogue, the extent of its complementarity or competition with the government policies. In addition to the call to hold the economic conference in September 2022, these are challenges that the dialogue also succeeded in overcoming through the establishment of the board of trustees of the dialogue and the development of many documents regulating the dialogue session and its outcomes regarding the economic conference. The board of trustees emphasizes that the integrated approach to the dialogue and the conference. Finally, the dialogue is exposed to the allegation regarding to the extent to which the dialogue recommendations are binding to the on the government or not. I think the government will respond to the recommendation by approving all implementable recommendations.
Yes,
as for the importance of this dialogue, it can be said that the current political regime, since it officially took over the power in 2014, has managed the country in what we can understand the issue of agenda of priorities. So at first, the priority was to restore the security, then improve the economic factors. After that, we can talk about a political file, but that doesn't mean we neglected the political file in the previous year. I think there are many strategies, there are many conferences, the YAS conference, the strategy of human rights also. So the political life was obvious, and the national dialogue is a coronation for the political file.
Yes. So, Dr. Rustum, a number of proposals have been reached during the last national dialogue this year with more than 1,500 suggestions. How did this enrich the political and social process in Egypt?
I think the number of the suggestions or the amount of suggestions it's a reference or that the Egyptian government is openness to listen to the all voice, diverse voice, or the national dialogue. Open his door for any proposal from anyone in the political, economic, social file. So the door is open. The message is the door is open.
Yes. So how do you weigh the success of the national dialogue this last time? It reached to a significant success that was praised by all analysts.
And in fact, I can only praise this dialogue, especially since there are many of my professors and colleagues, graduates participating in this dialogue. Of course, it's a joke, but the truth that when the dialogue announces success in discussing 70 issues in period from May until the end of the first phase, it's a matter worthy of praise. When a document with the recommendation of the first phase issued and made available to everyone via the internet, it's a matter worthy of praise. When a dialogue produces candidates for three diverse parties competing for the presidency of Egypt are also an issue worthy of praise. And when the outcome of the diversity of the vote of national dialogue is an unprecedented high rate of participation in the presidential election, it's an issue worth of praise. But as I said, the most important thing is for the dialogue to come up with the recommendation that presents alternative and expand the circle of choice for the political leadership. And these alternatives are executive and not theoretical only. Here, allow me to quote what Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said at the conclusion and the final of the economic conference in 2022, that despite the importance of proposals presented as a conference, as students in the first year of the faculty or at the Faculty of Economic and Political Science can propose them. Of course, the President didn't mean to belittle to discard what was presented, but he means that we are indeed committed to most of these proposals and we are aware of them, but it's a call for renewal and presenting a possible alternative that is proportional to our capabilities attached with executive policies.
Yes. Also, Dr. Rostom, after President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi won the elections and secured the third term in office, he delivered a speech to the nation. And one of the things that he said during his speech immediately after winning the presidential elections, the president said that the role of the national, praised the role of the national dialogue during the electoral process. So how did you see this?
I think Mr. President's speech before to refer to the national dialogue in the Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi speech. Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi speech after announcing his victory in the election consists of three main topics. And first, he praised the high participation of the Egyptian in the election, which came to express the solidarity of Egyptian people in the face of many challenges, the most important of which is the war in Gaza. Mr. President emphasized that this participation, this high participation, is an expression of complete rejection of the inhuman war in Gaza. The second topic relates to thanking all groups of Egyptians who participating in the election, in addition to his thanks to his competitors in the election, and emphasizing that he came from Egyptian Hara. This world in itself requires analysis, but there is no time for it. But regarding to the national dialogue, in his speech, it came in the form of thanks and invitation, as he attributes credit to the national dialogue for high participation rates in the election and multiplicity of candidates from different party voices on one hand. On the other hand, He called the National Dialogue members for work on several issues, including education, health, law, value system in Egypt, identity, the culture of Egypt, for the sake of the main goal of the Egyptian nationality security.
Yes. So, Dr. Rostom, during the national dialogue this year, with the participation of more than 2,630 characters, and the participation also of around 60 parties, okay? We noticed that there were no any kind of restrictions. The politicians and journalists and writers were free to speak, there was a freedom of expressing their point of view and saying their opinion. How did you read this?
I think this amount of participation confirmed the extent of openness of the Egyptian political system to listening all voices in order to achieve political stability. It also confirmed the seriousness of the national dialogue. I think if it were a clash or a clash or a real dialogue, it would have been enough to photograph and listen to a simple speech. But as for this number of parties, allow me to say that although multi-party participation are required, and this is an opportunity, but this is an opportunity to call on the for the national dialogue to present a proposal for an electoral system that will bring us between 2 to 5 parties blocks that have a clear vision and a real alternatives and the ability to mobilize citizens. Yes. And the ability financial support, financing electoral campaigns, political socialization. However, at the present moment, this participation is important for the political future in Egypt, and why not? Perhaps this dialogue will serve as an arena for some of these parties to converge into a major party bloc.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information. Dr. Mohammed Ashraf Rostom, teaching assistant at the Department of Political Science. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.